Hello, my name is Eric Karp. It is my privilege to serve as General Counsel of the National Coalition of Associations of 7-Eleven franchisees. The National Coalition represents 42 state and local franchise owners associations, and since 1973 has been protecting the rights of franchise owners around the country. The National Coalition has asked me to speak to you today about 7-Eleven's campaign to undermine the legitimate policy judgments of the California Supreme Court and the California legislature. In what can only be called a full court press, 7-Eleven is pressuring its franchisees to support an amendment to a California law that everyone is calling AB-5. 7-Eleven wants to exempt franchising from the definition of an independent contractor under that law. AB-5 codifies a decision of the California Supreme Court on the definition of an independent contractor. The misclassification case filed by 7-Eleven franchisees in California asked the court to find that while 7-Eleven promises to treat its franchisees as independent contractors, it has failed to do so. Unfortunately, 7-Eleven's campaign is supported by misleading and inaccurate statements. If you listen to what your franchisor is saying, you would assume that the world of franchising as we know it would come to an end if the law is not changed. That is simply not true. Today, the National Coalition sets the record straight. First, AB-5 does not contain a new definition of an independent contractor. The three-pronged test Greg Franks reviewed in his recent video has been the law in many states for many years where franchising has flourished, including since 2004 in my home state of Massachusetts, which has more than 200 7-Eleven franchisees. Second, it is misleading for Mr. Franks to lump 7-Eleven in with other mainstream franchisors such as McDonald's, Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, and Dunkin' Donuts. This is an apples to oranges comparison. Those franchisors exercise far less control over their franchisees than does 7-Eleven. Those franchisees are not required to deposit their gross receipts in a bank chosen by their franchisor and into an account in the name of that franchisor. They own their fixtures and equipment. They control the real estate of their franchise location through lease or purchase. And they are not under 24/7 surveillance from the franchisor's home office. Third, the three-part test does not apply to franchisees at all, but to the system created by the franchisor. Put another way, it is not you that has to pass the three-pronged test. It is up to 7-Eleven to create a system that allows its franchisees to actually function as the independent contractors they yearn to be. Fourth, Mr. Frank's parade of horribles conspicuously and conveniently fails to mention that for more than 3 years, 7-Eleven has adamantly refused repeated invitations to sit down at the bargaining table and create a fair, balanced, and livable franchise agreement. Sadly, it has instead elected to test this law in court, and in doing so, could end up being liable for hundreds of millions of dollars of damages payable to franchisees. 7-Eleven is not trying to save franchising. It is trying to buy its way out of having to treat its franchisees fairly and in good faith. In the end, this misguided effort to change an established law entirely misses the point. The franchise system created by 7-Eleven treats franchisees like glorified store managers. You are subject to a steady stream of top-down, do this or else mandates. 7-Eleven wants you to help it maintain a status quo that oppresses you and other franchisees, squeezes your profits, and erodes the value of your businesses. No, 7-Eleven. The solution to your problem is not to mislead your franchisees into helping your expensive lobbyists change the law. The solution is to change the culture of your franchise system by making transparency and collaboration the consistent themes of your interaction with your franchisees and the National Coalition, their elected representatives. The solution is to change the way you treat your franchisees. And yes, to change your deeply one-sided and unfair franchise agreement. So the next time 7-Eleven asks you to support this exemption from AB-5, remember their true but carefully unstated motives. Just politely say no and tell them to once and for all come to the bargaining table with the National Coalition and create a franchise agreement that reflects a fair and equitable balance of the risks and the rewards of the franchise relationship. I hope you, your families, and your employees stay safe and healthy. Thanks for listening.